81 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this was a typo the first time I saw it.
Spicy.
Right?
Spicy.
And it's just a great reminder, right, to everyone, this is what this man can do.
Yes, and look, what he was reminding the world, we already know that IT could get buckets, but he's healthy. He still could help an NBA team coming in off the bench, being a 6 or 7 type guy off the bench in the rotation, giving them buckets off the bench.
I mean, the question is, if you lose a little speed or athleticism when you are that size, and by the way, he's still taller than me, but when you are that size and trying to be an NBA player, you can do it on a court like that, but when you are playing against NBA talent, are the windows still there for him?
He scored 81.
I'm asking you if that can translate back to the league.
It can, right.
I can't score 8, so
I want crinkle fries. $4 now at Arby's. Still got curlies at the Arby's. Arby's, we have the meat.
Do you build me up, buttercup baby, just to let me down and mess me around, and then worst of all, you never call, baby.
Daydreaming again? But I love you still. You know I'm driving, right?
I do. Buttercup baby, just to let me down.
If you ride, you get it. Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
This Friday and Saturday, get in for a better breakfast at Wendy's and get it for free. That's a bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss breakfast croissant free. As in free. No catch. To recap, breakfast free. Croissant free. Friday and Saturday free. Only at Wendy's.
Welcome back to The Jump here in Las Vegas at Summer League. A satisfying end to the Olympics over in Tokyo as the men's team defeated France 87-82 to take the gold medal. We also had Kevin Durant, guys, passing Carmelo Anthony during the games. He became Team USA's all-time leading scorer in Olympic competition. That came with a 29-point gold medal performance. Led the way, 4th straight gold. It was Durant's 3rd. Brian Windhorst was there for us, and he's got a little more on Durant's stature as a pillar of Team USA.
There were many who were surprised Kevin Durant decided to play in the Tokyo Olympics. To those who know him, they would have been surprised if he didn't. Durant missed a year and a half with his Achilles injury suffered in 2019. He didn't get to try to win that last title with the Warriors. He didn't try to get to make a title run in the bubble his first year with the Nets. So when Durant was presented with a chance to win a 3rd gold, the idea of staying on the sidelines was ridiculous to him. Durant has won everything you can in the world of basketball. Scoring titles, MVPs, Finals MVPs, NBA titles, Olympic golds, World Cups. His resume is impeccable. He has nothing left to win and nothing left to prove, but he loves playing the game. Some players try to avoid getting hurt in the summer. For Durant, the hurt is avoiding playing at all. It was the same reason that 10 years ago this week he showed up at Rucker Park and left everyone who saw him put up 66 points with an unforgettable experience. These Olympics have been unforgettable too. Durant's poise and skill were the lifeblood of Team USA's run to gold. When things get tough, and they have time and time again for the US in Tokyo, Durant has been there to deliver smooth and clutch relief. These are the 3rd straight Olympics where Durant has been the heart of Team USA's offense. he was the difference maker in the gold medal game in London in 2012. He put on a three-point shooting display for the ages in Rio in 2016. In Tokyo, he's been the team's heartbeat, not only as a scorer, but as a leader from the moment he agreed to play. He's probably the greatest Olympic basketball player ever to wear USA across his chest.
To dive a little bit more into Kevin Durant, you know who he is. He's Kevin Durant. The man has told you himself. We've got Kirk Goldsberry here with us. And Kirk had to hear me say all through these Olympic Games, every time we would have a discussion, I would end it with, okay, but I'm not worried because they have Kevin Durant. And in the end, they had Kevin Durant. That is what made the difference. And after the win, you said that you thought that KD had, quote, claimed the title of the best American men's basketball player in an Olympic competition. So why is he deserving that crown for you?
I would say best men's player in Olympics history. He's one of two guys with 3 Olympic gold medals, Carmelo being the other one.
Yep.
All due respect to Carmelo. But what he's done over the last 3 Olympics, Rachel, is be the leading scorer in each of the 3, starting as a 23-year-old in 2012 on a team that was stacked with Kobe, with LeBron
right.
and Chris Paul, and the 23-year-old goes out and breaks the American record for most points in an Olympic tournament and scores 30 in a tight gold medal game against Spain. Repeats that in 2016 on a lesser stacked team to win the gold in Rio. And then what we've seen recently is this guy's become like the sage leader that Kobe was for that 2012 team. And now he's the guy that the younger guys are looking up to and are confident in, like you said, that he has the ball, we're going to win if KD is out there.
Everything Kirk just said. I mean, look, Rachel, here's the thing, though, right? Here's the thing, Kirk. We look at KD resume, and it's longer than a what, Rachel? It's longer than a what?
I can't do your expressions.
It's not a holiday weekend. It's the Starbucks line.
All
because
right.
for the simple fact, when you look at what
I'm not going to try a Perkism.
No, but I wanted you to try at one point. But look, here's the thing about KD, and here's the thing why this was so special, right? We all had our concerns about Team USA when they started, right? Because, you know, they were moving the ball, they were playing within a quote-unquote system. And all of a sudden, we saw KD say, you know what, let me just take this over. And he did it in great fashion. He took over the Olympics. That's what happened to Team USA. Right. It wasn't no master plan. It wasn't defensive schemes. It was Kevin Durant. And by the way, Wendy, I'm very disappointed in you because in your piece, you should have said Rachel Nichols had been saying Team USA got Kevin Durant.
Well, look, I love, too, the fact that the guys were so excited, and Kevin Durant himself was so excited. You heard Brian say in that piece that some people were surprised that he decided to commit to play for the Olympics after such a long and grueling season.
Really?
And look, the idea that all of these guys understand, winning a title, winning an NBA championship, it's incredible. It's still the #1 goal for every player on that court. But let's not pretend it's the only thing. And the joy that they all had, the joy that KD has obviously had, being in these Olympic Games has been so much fun to see. All right, I'm going to try a Perkism. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
All right. You need to stick with the jump like old people need soft shoes, because coming up next, we're going to talk about the top 2 picks in the draft. Did I do that right? Is that okay?
I mean, you know, Dr. Scholes is pretty impressed.
All right, there we go. Mike Schmitz is going to join the show. Tell us what to expect from Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green in Summer League. That's ahead. We're coming to you live from, fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, the Thomas & Mack Center here at NBA Summer League. I am Rachel Nichols. This is our NBA champ, Kendrick Perkins, and this is the one and only Monica McNutt, the Hoya Destroyer. And we are here, people. Summer League has started. The NBA calendar never stops. But we got to talk before we move on to what's behind us about a golden weekend for Team USA because, man, let's start with the men's teams. We're going to give both teams some love here. Kevin Durant, guys, 29 points to lead Team USA to that gold medal, defeating France 87-82. This was Durant's third gold to go along with 2 NBA championships. He also signed a new $189 million contract with the Nets on Friday.
Nice.
So it's a good week to be Kevin Durant. I mean, when is it not? But still. Kendrick, we got to start with you. You were so impressed with Durant's performance in the Olympics that you tweeted on Sunday that KD is the greatest scorer ever. So the floor is yours, friend. Please
Okay.
make your case.
Well, first of all, Rachel, look, I feel like Richard is somewhere in here, like I'm
No,
cursed
yelling at you.
because this is his seat, and I'm usually sitting right there, and I'm able to really hide everything that I gained when I stopped playing. But now I'm front and center, so everything is sticking out. I'm looking like a pregnant woman, but it's all good though. But here it is. Kevin Durant is the greatest scorer to ever touch the basketball. When you look at a guy that's 7'1", 7 foot, he's not 6'11", he's 7 foot or 7'1", with his ability to get to his spots, his handle is so underrated. His three ball is so underrated. His turnarounds over both shoulders. Offensively, he has zero flaws. And when you watch him in the Olympics, along with watching what he done throughout the postseason and what he did to the Bucks in the second round, look, you kept warning us. I'm not worried about the Olympic team. Why? Because they have Kevin Durant.
This is what I said for what, 3 weeks? A month?
This is a guy every single season that is in the 40, 50, 90 club.
I agree with you 100%, Perk.
Oh.
And I have, what you mean, you ain't expect us to agree early?
No, I didn't. I'm just used to RJ, and I forgot to monitor, and you actually have some sense.
We have an upgrade here, Perk. Come on.
We
RJ,
do.
I have no parts in these shots that are inadvertently coming your way, my brother. That's not me. But I agree. And I actually think another underrated aspect of KD's game that, and I'll admit we don't see it consistently enough, he's a terrific defender when he wants to lock in. And I think we saw that in particular when this team needed to lock down France and make sure that there was no questions about which team was going to be dominant. In addition to his size, Perk, his skill set, I find the gap. Somebody find the hole. Like, there is not a hole in his game. And so I had caught a lot of flack off the Twitter streets for saying that KD was running the league on First Take about a month ago. But I'm in on the KD bus. Shout out to the 301. Yes, that's my man from the PA area.
Absolutely. Although, okay, I love that y'all agree here, but I got to throw out some other names to you, right? So you know what I am going to say first, right? Perk, do you want to tell her? Because she should know, by the way, being a local Maryland, D.C. girl, a Georgetown girl. What am I going to say? Who's his name?
Allen Iverson.
I'm going to say Allen Iverson is in that conversation. I understand he's not at the top of most people's list. That's okay. He can just be at the top of my list because I happen to think he's the GOAT of all time, no matter what conversation we're having. Clothes, shoes, personality, basketball, just general human. You know I call him our greatest living American. But let me tell you why in this conversation, look, 4-time scoring champ, right? Obviously one-on-one could get past anyone. You have, I don't know, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, also a topic of conversation here. Kobe Bryant, somebody who a lot of people would say hit a contested.
I just go back to the size.
Right.
If you were to give all these guys, whoever you think your greatest defender was, right, and, you know, put them first to 5, you cannot defend KD's size. Like, I see a world in which he's been able to glean from all the great names that you've mentioned and is able to execute those moves similarly and then raises up at 7'1".
Right.
Or 6'13", whatever he likes to be called.
The ease with which he can score, and I'm not saying it's easy because that took so much work, but the ease that he has earned and created for himself with that work is so impressive. And then when you say there's no holes in KD's game, again, it's the work. And we see so many guys, it's appropriate we're having the discussion here at Summer League. We see so many guys who come in with this fantastic just talent and the skill set they've developed either in college or playing a year of pro on their way to here. And they kind of feel like, great, I made it. I made the NBA. And the truly great ones take their start here and they work and improve and improve. Just the way KD's gotten better defensively has been so impressive. All of that being said, my answer to any question, who's the best?
Phoenix Suns signing back CP3. I thought a huge pickup for them was picking up the veteran in JaVale McGee, just in case DeAndre Ayton getting one of those funks again like he did in the finals.
Or just foul trouble.
Which is not right. When you get a veteran like JaVale McGee, but look, right now, and I hate to say it because I want Chauncey to be able to coach a superstar like Dame, but I think we're seeing Dame rap video come out because Dame rapping for Dame is his therapy, right now. And I just see it's a possibility it could happen. Ben Simmons is not answering the phone calls. He don't want to be in with the 76ers. And from what I heard, he's willing not to report to training camp. And we'll go as far as it takes for him to get out of Philly. So I say we'll smoke his fire.
Did you see Perk just slip that in there at the end?
I did.
Can you say that last part again? You've heard that he is
willing not to show up to training camp, that he will not show up to training camp, and that he's willing to sit out for however long until he gets out of Philly.
Wow. So, can I put the eyes emoji on TV? That's what I would do to that conversation.
Let me give you the face.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of feel like on the flip side, Perk, it's going to require that level of being adamant from Dame to get it done. Because I just don't see why Portland would do it unless we respect all that you've given the city. We know we ain't got it while you're still in your prime. And I don't know if Portland is ready to kick the can in that way. And is Dame dug in terms of this thing potentially being reminiscent to what we saw James Harden have to do? The trade in and of itself is excellent if you're the Philadelphia 76ers.
Sure.
Right.
I just don't know if Portland is there.
I think that's the key, too. If you were the Portland Trailblazers, you might not get another player like Damian Lillard for, 10 years, 20 years? How long did it take Milwaukee to get Giannis after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? 40 years? So there's no guarantee you're going to end up with another Damian Lillard anytime soon. So I just ask them for a trade. And that is the difficult position that some of these players are in. He's the one who signed that Supermax contract, so he is locked into that contract for another 4 years. And teams can trade you at any time, despite any contract that you sign. The players don't have that outlet, so they either can go and ask for a trade, but that puts the onus on them to feel like they're betraying their community and what's their loyalty, and there's all kinds of words that we fling around toward them. And then if they do what James did, then they're a malcontent. It's a difficult position for these guys to be in, and the teams don't have that side.
Well, I mean, look, James is one example, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And I'm going to go back to the point of Kevin Garnett, right? Carried the Minnesota Timberwolves for however long, and he turned 31 years of age and said, you know what, this is not it for me. And he said it at his Hall of Fame speech. The only regret that I have is not asking for a trade or coming to Boston sooner to try to win championships. And Damian Lillard is 31. Like, he don't want to have those regrets if he's really adamant about winning a championship.
Yep, it is going to be interesting. We will keep watching, and especially after Perk spiciness here, the Ben Simmons situation as well, guys, because yesterday, we showed you a little bit. Jalen Green went to work in his Summer League debut, 9 of 18 from the field, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 dimes in the Rockets' win over Cleveland. So, Kendrick, what was your biggest takeaway from Jalen Green's debut?
Everything. Look, and here it is. This is why Troy Weaver and the Detroit Pistons were 50-50 about taking this kid number one. He is must-see TV. He has swagger. Anytime you see a kid roll his shorts up 3 or 4 times, he's very confident, and he showed us that. Look, Jalen Green is a superstar in the making. I said this last year about LaMelo Ball. This guy's must-see TV, and right now he's the only player in this draft that I would spend my hard-earned money to take my kids to and buy courtside tickets to watch him play.
And this is coming from a man who lives in Houston.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes, who played in the game prior to that one, would like to have a word because he had a great game as well. But I will say this of Jalen. I think it's one thing, we know you're athletic, we know you're skilled. It's one thing to be going off, but the ebbs and flows of that game, particularly in the fourth quarter. This was a contest that was seesawing back and forth. Going to the half, we saw Isaac Okoro, second-year player on the other end for Cleveland. They was, drawing at one another naturally in a basketball kind of way. Nothing to be concerned about there. But in the big-time moments of this game, he was able to show up and knock down baskets for his team, not just filling it up for the sake of filling it up.
But isn't that somewhat having that pro experience? It's one of the things that he was talking to teams about in the draft, being like, hey, I played in the G League last year. I know how to play grown-up basketball.
And I actually asked him about that post-game, and I said, you're a walking experiment and testament to what Team Ignite can be. And he said himself, the goal of Team Ignite is to make pros. And so it's my job to come out here and show that that's what my team is doing. So shout out to Brian Shaw.
I was going to say, he's doing pretty well by you, B. Shaw. Absolutely. All right, we're going to talk a little Carmelo Anthony coming up because he is being introduced as a Laker today. We will break down his decision to team up with LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook. Keep it locked.
Hey yo, rapping just a rap, what happened to that? Mainstream took a hold of my soul, but I made it back, bringing it.
Mr. Kendrick Perkins, Ms. Monica McNutt, and we got to talk about one of the biggest stories of the offseason, the revamped LA Lakers. One of the most notable acquisitions was, of course, the signing of Carmelo Anthony. He is expected to be introduced in a press conference later today. So, Kendrick, what do you think Melo's impact with the Lakers will be, joining LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook as well?
It's going to be everything for the simple fact that Melo has found himself, meaning his new role. He understands that he's not a franchise guy no more. We saw that in Portland. He's going to be to the Lakers what they expected Kyle Kuzma to be. And that's a guy to come in off the bench and give them 15 to 16 points a night or even more if he gets hot, which we know Melo could do because Melo is a hooper. You could drop him off anywhere in America. He's going to get buckets. He's going to get buckets probably till he's the age of 65.
Okay, well, there's Melo then, but Monica, there's the whole roster. So how do you see all the pieces fitting together? Look at that face. That face is not a happy face.
Listen, I agree that Melo understands his role. He's going to understand the assignment, okay? But I don't think that's enough to get this team over the hump. When you look, Russell Westbrook's statistical best year was back in the 2016-2017 season. LeBron averaged a double-double last season, but that was the first time he'd done that. So you argue that he didn't even that formula for him has not equated to necessary success, right? Mm-hmm. And then Melo, who I love, I want Melo to get a ring. The durability of this team continues to be a question, especially when your young stud who's supposed to lead the way has never played an 82-game season. Now, he did get to 75 3 times, but still, I think Melo's going to be great, but I don't know that impact is going to be get this team over the hump. They got a few more humps to clear that have nothing to do with Melo in my mind.
Well, look, one thing about it is that all this team has to do is get to the playoffs.
I don't know.
Let me tell you why. Sit back and just listen for a second,
right.
Monica. I know you have concerns.
Let me listen.
But I don't. Because here's why. One thing we know, when you get a group of guys like this, right, that know that they want to accomplish winning the championship. Like I was on the 2010 Boston Celtics. Well, we pretty much had an old team. When you come together collectively and you know that you're old, we had Rasheed Wallace. He had a bad back. Although we didn't win, we had Kevin Garnett. Like those guys were getting up in age. But when you have that mindset of putting your pride aside and doing what's best for the team, like maybe LeBron James playing the power forward position, Anthony Davis playing the 5, Dwight Howard still could jump out of the gym. And I think people don't give Russell Westbrook enough credit for his decision making. This is a guy that led the NBA last year in assists. He led it in assists with a lot of G League guys around him.
Perk, I hear you. I think you're probably not wrong in that assessment. In fact, a recent conversation I was having compared this group to the 04 Lakers. They got there and couldn't clear it, right? I just think the West is not waiting.
With that 04 Lakers team.
Okay, let's just go to the age of the basketball part. Let's just keep it real simple. The West is not waiting. Like, I just don't see where there's enough room.
Don't you? First of all, don't give me all this.
I'm pleading. I'm not snapping.
Listen, because I'm telling you this, all right? One thing about it that we fail to realize is that the most important piece is Anthony Davis.
Who can't stay healthy.
Okay, but when he is healthy, he dominated in great fashion. Did he not deliver a championship?
Yes.
Okay,
there is more of a risk that he's not healthy. There have been seasons he's been healthy, and you just identified some of them.
Okay.
It's just a risk. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes he's had some bad luck.
Do y'all have, so who in the 7-game series, you name me one team that could beat the Lakers?
I think, okay, that's a little tough. I think the Warriors are reloading, and I think the Utah Jazz are going to have that similar experience to what the Milwaukee Bucks have had in terms of being close and coming up short.
That lost to the Clippers.
Did you hear what I said? Similar to the Milwaukee Bucks experience. Okay, they needed that.
I got another Western Conference team we got to talk about. Luka Doncic coming off, of course, a strong Olympic performance. This man is about to get paid. According to our own Tick McMahon, a Mavericks contingent, including Dirk Nowitzki, Mark Cuban, new GM Nico Harrison. They brought everybody, and they have arrived in Slovenia to present Luka with his $207 million Supermax. Here is some video. Just Dirk Nowitzki walking around, not attracting any attention or anything.
They're not wearing masks over there, y'all.
Can you imagine? I mean, they're outdoors.
You're right, Rachel.
They're outdoors. I don't know. Look, Kendrick, what more do the Mavs need to do to build a team around Luka that the Mavericks could get into this argument y'all were just having about who can win in a 7-game series? Because $207 million is lovely, but he also wants a ring.
He do, and I think the first step was getting Jason Kidd in there. You know, I always preach about a change of voice in the locker room changes everything. And now Jay Kidd could get Luka to buy into making Phil Porzingis wanted again. That's a huge thing. And I understand people saying, oh, he need to get out of his feelings. He getting paid a lot of money. But sometimes you have to coach each player differently. And sometimes you may have to stroke and feed their ego to get the best out of their player. Remember, 2 years ago, Luka and Porzingis was They had the highest scoring duo in the bubble.
Yeah.
They both was averaging around 30 points. So if you could just get those two on one accord, then you have a great, great foundation to start from.
He needs a number 2. It's solidified number 2. If Porzingis is going to emerge as that guy, cool. I don't know if Hardaway can emerge. I'm a Tim Hardaway Jr. fan, but I don't know if he's capable of being that guy. He needs a solidified number 2 because we've seen teams are like, all right, let Luka get 50, just cap everybody else off.
But the key question with KP is, can you trust him to play the 5 defensively on a consistent basis? Because that unlocks so much other stuff with their team, right?
It feels, yes, to answer your question, yes. But I think Luka is also turning into a guy that people want to play with. And I'm not sure what other superstars the Mavs may be eyeballing, but we know that Cuban is willing to invest in his organization to make that a destination. I don't know if that current roster has the guy that's going to be number 2.
I mean, I'm just not giving up on KP.
Yeah.
And I have criticized him in the past. I've called him a diva, and it's okay. He may have diva mentalities. He may want things his way, but at the end of the day, the best KP, like a guy that could go out there and get you 25, 15 rebounds, 7 blocks. Just look at what Porzingis was doing when Luka wasn't on the floor. And
It's not going to be like that.
I get that, but what I'm saying, if you could make both of them coexist at the same time, which I believe Jay Kidd can do, because we witness certain coaches having a certain effect on their locker room when it's a change of voices.
Here's the bottom line. That is an untapped resource right now in Dallas. He is not being maximized. Whether you decide it's because of him, because of coaching, because of the front office, because of teammates, you could put the blame wherever you want, but it's not happening yet. So their biggest goal this season is to maximize him better, because their best chance is to go with the guys they've already got. Trying to lure other guys in and make trades and all of that, you're going to lose value in the exchange. Their best shot is to make Kristaps Porzingis work for this team with Luka, and I know from talking to Jason Kidd, that is his number 1 goal. Monica McNutt, thank you so much for being here today. We've only had you on screens before. This is fantastic.
And RJ is